Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clipper Street's Crafty Hour number 73. It is Deanna here, and I am just getting loaded up and ready. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. I am a couple of minutes early, so if you are watching this on replay, not a worry. You can just forward a couple of minutes, and we're going to get started at the top of the hour. Now, today we're going to be working with the Paper Rose line, which is called Christmas Holly. This is the quick card collection, and this one has a ton of stuff inside. It looks small, but it is mighty. 18 double-sided pages, plus 4 die cuts are in here. The line is beautiful, traditional, reds and greens, and it is just gorgeous. I really enjoy playing with this one, and I hope you like the cards that I made. We're going to do 3 cards together, and then, of course, Courtney is going to be on later today, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Missouri time, and she will do her cards. And I haven't seen them, so I'm kind of excited to see those. Now, you can get the die cuts separate. I just want to talk about that because between us, we're going to use a lot of the die cut sets. So these are I wonder where my die cut toppers went. I have to find them. Did I pull them? Nope. Nope. I guess they're these. So we're going to be using the die cuts from the pack. And if you need extra, there is a few available. There is my die cuts. These ones are mine. And then, of course, the gorgeous, gorgeous papers. Beautiful, beautiful ones. These are some of my leftovers. I quite like the back as well. I think they're really just a pretty tone with it. So I did post homework. So hopefully you guys have done your homework. The first card we are going to do with gold foil, and then card 2 and 3, I'm going to use red foil, but I also suggested that you could use red cardstock or red glitter, totally your choice. And I also put an option in there. That was for a circle that is going to fit one of these die cuts. That was optional. And I did mention that I am going to be using the lacy circles. So these are ones that are from Spellbinders. I love them. I think they're really, really pretty. And it was one of the ones that I had them remake for us from the vault. So you guys should have it, hopefully. So that is your homework before we get started with the cards. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Hour number 73. Now, just a quick reminder, and I'll probably try and remember to tell you again. We have about 6 of these left in the store. That's it. So if you're watching this and you're like, darn, I wish that we had have bought that because I know it happens. We do have about 6 left. I am not sure if Courtney has any left. Oop, I see she just popped on. So she can let us know if she has any left. Canadian is $28 for the Crafty Hour, just in case you missed it. I know we only have 6 left, and we'll see what Courtney has left. I do have extra the die cuts left, and then the only other thing I think I have in the store is some of the 6x6 papers. And these are what they call the basic papers, so slightly different patterns, and will work with your leftovers. So if you didn't get those, feel free to phone us after Crafty Hour, and we will sort it out for you. And I'm sure Courtney will let us know. Courtney says she is sold out. So no go, no bueno there. All right, are we ready? I have that it is 10:01. So we are going to get started with our first card. I'm just going to move all my goodies out of the way here. So this is going to be, card number 1. And for this one, I asked you to have a card base, which is your normal A2 size. So that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So Sarah Ann, please phone because nobody is watching the class. So please phone us. That will be best. And quickest. So we have a card base, and then I asked you for the gold that will fit onto your card base, and then a little piece that's 1 by 5 1/4. So those are the 3 items we needed for card 1. All right, so let's get started. And surprisingly, we're not going to use a huge amount of paper on this one. We are going to use a lot of our die cuts. So first is really simple. We are going to take that gold and we are just going to glue it right onto the front of the card. So we'll take that and glue the gold right on top. And we'll set that off to the side for a minute. Let it dry, and we will move on to some pattern paper. And I'm going to get my little cards here so I can write the measurements. We'll put that off to the side. Now, the paper I would like you to find, the first paper that we are going to cut is this paper right here. Now, you have 3 of each paper. The back of this one is this green wood paper, which is just stunning. And we're going to use this paper right here. Okay, and of course, we're going to use some of that leftover, so we don't want to get rid of anything. So go ahead and find this paper. You can flip it over if that is easier, might be a little easier. And this is the paper that I chose to use going sideways. So it's going to kind of go like that. That's where we're going to cut it. Now you can see that what I did, if I show it to you like this, is I cut off this little piece right here of the white flower because I wanted primarily the red down there. So what I'm going to do first is take this and just cut off that white part. So if I put the flowers on the bottom, like so, I am just going to cut off probably about 3/4 of an inch. I'm just eyeballing it so that I am just right where the red flower starts. So let's go ahead and just cut that piece off. It is exactly 3/4 of an inch. So we're just going to take 3/4 of an inch off right underneath that red flower so it looks like that. And of course, we're not going to throw that away. That may come in handy. I'm going to put it into my scrap pile. Okay, so that is just step number 1. Just take 3/4 of an inch off. Now what we're going to do is take that bottom right here where we just cut, and we're going to line it up with 4. And that means we're going to cut right through the white flower at the top. So let's go ahead and cut that at 4 inches. Okay, those flowers are up at the top. This, of course, we'll put away. We will be using this for one of our cards. So I'm just going to set it off to the side. And then we're going to take this to 5 1/4. Now, I don't want to cut my flowers. I want to cut my plain part. So I'm going to take my flowers and I'm going to line them up at 5 1/4. Remembering that this is a 6-inch piece of paper. So we're going to take 3/4 of an inch off this kind of plain side when we compare it to the other. So that's 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, we'll put that off to the side, and then let's double check it before we put glue on. Perfect. Should give you that little border all the way around. Now, we are going to put the flowers on the left-hand side. I do know that there is some words here. We are not going to see those words, so don't worry that they are sideways. You will not see them. So let's glue that together. I should also mention, and I don't think I brought mine, but in your kit, you will also see that they have created 6 other cards. I like to give you fresh ideas, so we did not use those ones in there. Those are kind of bonus ones for you guys. You may need to get some extra die cuts, which is why we do have some extras available, but you should have enough of the paper. Okay, let's make sure the card opens right way, and we'll attach that. Okay, so the flowers are sitting off to the left-hand side. We'll just put that right there for now. Now, this card I kept really quite simple. I know it sounds crazy, but it was really quite simple. It's what I like to call a warm-up. Now let's go to the die cuts. And I want you to find this long banner. This is on this die cut sheet with the big green plaid, and we're going to pull this one right here. So let me just take that out. They're quite thick. I just want to get that. There we go. Come on. So that's the first one we're going to use. And as you can see, I love that it's got that gloss on there. So pretty. So this is the one that we are going to use. Now, if I have a look at it, let me get a piece of paper here so I can show you. We have one side that has a banner cut tail, one side that is straight. And what we're going to do is see these flowers right here by the berries. We're going to cut right down the middle of that flower. So let me cut it, and then I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to use my trimmer because I do want a straight edge on this. So if I were to give you a measurement, I'm going to say maybe about 2 1/8. So I'm going to take the straight edge to 2 1/8 and cut. That should be enough. So that's what I have done. This piece here measures 2 1/8, which is just over 2 inches. Okay, so I have two pieces. I have a straight piece and a piece with the banner. We're going to start with the straight piece, and we are going to glue it to the center of that 1-inch gold, and I want it to be flush with the left-hand side. Okay, so we're just going to take a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot, just a little. I don't want it to be slipping and sliding. And I'm going to put it right like that. I love the little pop of gloss that they put on those die cuts. It's really pretty. Now I'm going to take the other little piece. Oh, I have to go get foam tape. I'm going to take the other little piece and I'm going to glue it flat to the right edge with the flat edge. So you see the banner there, the banner tail? We're going to put that facing the middle. So I want two sides that are flush. Okay, we're not going to see that banner cut, so we're going to hide it. Last night I was working on my 3D Christmas card class for December, and I used all my foam tape. I will be right back. We got to grab a roll before we go further. Helps to have foam tape, right? We cannot make a card flat. Oh my gosh. All right. Everybody out in the store is laughing at me because I don't have foam tape. They're like, that's impossible. You cannot do a class without foam tape. And you're right. I would be crying. Okay, so hopefully you're all set. Better set than me. Mine's still moving around. All right, so now what we're going to do is put foam tape across the bottom of it. Way too big a piece, but that's okay. Let's see, mine's still a little too wet. I got a little carried away with that little piece. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to put one piece of foam tape right down the center. Okay, I know. It's totally because I was doing the 3D cards, and they take a lot of foam tape. So I've got foam tape on it, and we're going to take the side with the bigger flowers, the more strip, and we're going to come up about 1 row of dots. So we're not going to go right in the middle. We're going to just kind of come up a little bit, and I'll show you mine in a minute. I'm just being cautious because it's still a little wet and slippery. Okay. Oop, oop, oop. I put way too much glue. There we go. So it's about a row up from the bottom. Hard to see on this angle, I'm sure, but it is closer to the bottom of those dot papers. It's not right in the center. Okay, so go ahead and attach that. Perfect. Now we're going to go back to our die cuts and you're going to choose a circle. We have found that these circles are pretty, how can I say it? They're pretty interchangeable. I am going to use this green one that's got a little bit of a plaid on it. I like that open space for my greeting. You can use whichever circle you want. It's totally up to you, but I am going to use this one. Okay. And the way I'm going to want to position mine is I'm going to have the plaid on the right side so that this empty space is on the left, because it's going to go right like that. Now it's not going to go right in the center. It's going to go a little bit higher up. If you have a look at mine, it's just a little bit up from the bottom. So I'm going to put some foam tape in some strategic places so that I know it's going to be perfect. So I'm going to put one piece right touching the gold. It's got to be right touching the gold like that. Because remember, I'm going to cover that gold hole. So yes, I could have cut a piece of paper and got it all the way across. That was a thought of mine. I was going to actually cut this paper and just put it all the way across. But I like that little pop of the gloss. Now that's way too big. And then what we're going to do is above the gold, I'm going to put another piece. And then I'm going to do one more littler piece, because if I'm thinking about a circle, I'm trying to think where that circle is going to go. I could always go back and put more. We know that. So that is kind of what I've got right now. Okay, one little piece touching the gold underneath, one piece above the gold, and then a smaller piece there. Now position that circle however you like. I know how I want it, and we're going to cover up that little gap. I'm going to come up a bit, making sure all my foam tape is off. That works perfect. Now you can put you can put glue in the middle of that gold if you wish. I don't find it necessary to, but if you want to, you can, of course. Okay. Now this is going to be a perfect card to add a little gems. If you have some, you could add red gems or gold gems. Lots of options. We're going to go back to this same die cut that we pulled out the long strip for, and we're going to take this double poinsettia down here. I chose the two smaller poinsettia flower clusters and gave Courtney the bigger one and the holly. So we'll use this one for a future card. I am going to take out this double one. They're all so beautiful. And we're going to put this right up in the corner. We need double foam tape. Okay, double. So I'm going to take a piece, I'm going to fold it in half, just like so, and I'm going to put it right up in this corner. So if I think about it kind of like a clock, it kind of starts at noon and goes maybe down to about 2 o'clock. And that is 2 times high. And I'm going to put one little piece, just one, on the actual die cut single. So this is double and this is single. It's going to look like that. Okay. Then we're going to take our flower, and with the white one at the top, the white one's going to go right around 12 noon. It's going to overlap it perfectly and just sit like that. So again, this is where I would put some gems maybe up here or maybe down here. You could also put some gems, some yellow gold gems in the center of your poinsettias if you wish. Okay, and then all we need to do now is add a greeting. And you have loads of greetings. It does not matter to me which one you use. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to use the little happy holidays, the red one, but all of the colors will work. So do whatever works best for you. And I am going to put foam tape on the back, of course. And I'm going to put it in that empty space. Now, if you have chosen, ooh, I came down quite a bit lower than that on this one. If you have chosen a different greeting or a different circle, you may want to move it around to work for your design. And that card is done. That's how easy that particular one is. We did it with one piece of paper. And I think we have a pretty spectacular card with all of that shine happening. So that card is done. Now, the next couple of cards, we're going to have a little bit more work. And I think I forgot my scoring tool. Yeah, I did. Oh, well, we'll make it work. Okay, ready? Move on to the next one. Let's put this off to the side, and we are going to do a small little easel card. So let me put that off to the side. This is a little guy that just looks like that. It's just a really cute little pretty one. So we're going to make a small little easel card with a scene inside. Isn't that pretty? Small little one. And this is where that optional circle comes into place. So let's bring out our homework. Card 1 is done. So for card 2, you're going to need a card base that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So let me bring my card base in. So I have a square card base. And I took the easy route of this one. I took one of my normal card bases and I just chopped it down. Okay, so I have a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card base. Check. Then I needed a 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 red foil. So I used foil. I did mention you can use cardstock or you can use the beautiful red glitter. Your choice. We have them all. So I'm going to use the red foil. Then I said I needed 2 pieces that are 2 inches by 4 1/8, same red. And then it was an optional circle, which I did choose to use the lacy circles. That is optional. You do not have to do it if you don't want to do it. Okay, so we're going to start. We're going to take our 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and we need to score one side at 2 1/8. So this is going to be a score, not a cut. Okay. Oopsie, I can't spell score this morning. I think I better drink more of my coffee, which is where? Over there. Now let me see. Do I have? I don't have. I left that trimmer at home. My son and his fiance left this morning at 3:30 this morning. No, this is not going to work. To go to the airport today for a vacation. And so it was a little hectic in my house this morning. So go ahead and score it. I am just going to fold it under in half because I did not bring my Spellbinder trimmer sitting at home. So we'll just pretend I did it with a scoring. So one side is 2 1/8. And we fold that under, and that's going to create this easel card. We're going to have a straight edge, and we're going to have a little tint on the top, and only one side gets scored. It's right in half at 2 1/8. Now, if we did that right, and we can always adjust these, we should have a red that fits on the top and the bottom, which I do. And then inside our card, on the side without any score lines, that is where we are going to glue the red foil, the square. So it looks like I'm good to go. We've scored it at 2 1/8. We are now just going to glue it into place. Okay, oops. And again, not too much glue. Get a little heavy-handed with this glue sometimes. Okay, so we have that one piece there. Okay, and then the front, I will close, and I'm going to put the 2 on the front. Just make sure you don't cover that score line, or it's not going to work. Will be in the way. Okay, so 1 at the top. We're going to get white on all 4 sides, just like normal. And then a little one at the bottom. all 4 sides with white. So all of those reds were pre-cut as part of your homework. So all you're doing right now is gluing. I'm going to leave that there for a moment. And I'm going to bring in the paper that I want you to find for the next one. Perfect. And this next one that we have, it is a green, kind of like a light plaid on the back. And it's got this scenery with the trees. So I'll leave this here for a moment. And we'll get you to find it. And there is a special way that I want you to cut this. So we're going to do this together. I just want you to find this paper first. Okay. It's beautiful, beautiful scene. Now, when I designed this card, I knew that I wanted that winter scene inside. It's really, really pretty. And so I know that I'm going to have to make some cut adjustments. What I want to show you first before we do it is just a little trick that you guys are probably all aware of. And it helps me with my measurements. I know that I'm going to need a 4-inch piece. And sometimes you want a specific part of the paper and you're sitting there trying to figure out, well, if I cut this and I cut this, where is this going to go? And I like to just grab a piece of transparency. I happen to have a fancy one here. I have the Snowfall because I was working with this for my new class. But any clear transparency, and then you can see that you can move it around. I've cut this to 4 by 4. And I can move it around and see where I want it and what I'm going to see. And then I can measure how much I'm going to cut off. So that's what I did to decide, okay, I want it in the trees, etc. So just a little tip, I always keep a piece of transparency handy for especially paper that has scenes. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to grab our trimmer. And we're going to take the bottom all the way down. So the bottom, and we're going to cut it at 4 inches. Because I know that the paper is going to be 4 inches. So we're going to take the bottom to 4. And go ahead and cut. And we have to do that cut first because this will give us the other pieces for the top. So we'll use this in a moment. So I've taken the bottom to 4 inches. Okay, perfect. Now, because I know where I want, because of my transparency, that I want maybe to cut off those berries and I want half a tree here, I was able to now take my ruler and say, well, if I do that, where do I want to cut? So I decided we're going to take 3/4 of an inch off the right hand side. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to take it to 3. Now, if I was using my Spellbinder trimmer, I would probably just subtract it. That can get a little confusing, but I know that this paper is 8 1/4, so I could just take it to 7 1/2. But because I don't have it, I'm just going to turn it upside down and take off 3/4 of an inch. And what that will do is cut that tree in half. Okay, if you just want to eyeball it, that totally works as well. Totally. Okay, so just take off 3/4 of an inch. And I'm not going to keep this paper, but of course you could. Okay, so now that's exactly where I want. And then that's going to cut half a tree over here. So that balances out really nice and easy. Okay, everybody's got that 3/4 of an inch out. You've just cut that tree in half. Turn it back upside down one more time. And we're going to go to 4 inches. And again, you're going to see we're going to cut that tree in half. So now I have a pretty scene. And it should cover up what I cut out. And that's going to go inside. Now make sure that the flowers are on the bottom. The card opens up to the top. Your score lines are at the top. And let's go ahead and glue that into place. Okay, and you might have a solid piece of red. I just was frugal with my foil, and I cut it out of the middle because I knew it would fit. Okay. So we've done that. Now with an easel card, not only do we decorate the inside, we have to decorate these two front flaps. And you may remember, as part of your homework, you had to cut a piece that was 2 inches by 4 1/8. So now we're going to take this leftover strip that we had. This is what we cut off at the beginning from the top. And we're going to use the back side. Okay, we're going to use that green, pretty back side. And I'm going to put it into my trimmer tall. This paper is going to measure 2 inches. I need it to be just under 2 because remember our red foil was 2. So we're going to cut this at 1 7/8. And I'm going to cut all the way down. 1 7/8 is right in between 1 3/4 and 2, right in the middle. We're taking about 1/8 of an inch off. Just a little hair, 1/8 of an inch. So this piece now measures 1 7/8. And then we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 4 inches each. So first one and second one, 4 inches each. That's going to leave me with 1/4 of an inch, which is garbage. And now I have the 2 pieces for the front of the card. Each of these pieces measures 1 7/8 by 4. So we're going to take this and we're going to glue one inside each of the red foil. I'm just making sure I've got red foil all the way around, make sure I've cut it right, and then we can go ahead and glue those on. If you need to make any adjustments, you obviously can. Okay, so I got one piece of green on the top and one piece on the bottom. And again, we've only used 1 piece of paper. This is why you probably are going to have a lot of extra papers and you might want more die cuts because we are going to use a lot of those. Right? So the front has 2 of the green plaid and then the inside has the scene. We're going to let that dry. We're done cutting paper for now. We don't need to cut any more for that card. We are going to start decorating. Perfect. Now with the circles, again, you are welcome to take whatever circle you want. Let's see, there's 6 circles. So I am going to use one more circle. My last card does not have a circle. So I'm going to take this green one. I like those stripes, and they're going to work really well with my card. So personally, I'm going to take that one. I'm going to pop that out. Okay, and when I had said that you want to have a circle, you could use any circle. It could be a decollage circle. It can be a stitch circle, as long as it works with these circle die cuts. So I took my die cut and I'm like, does it work? Yep, I'm perfectly happy. I love how stunning that little guy is. I'm going to foam tape this together. You can just glue it if you want, but I'm going to foam tape it. If you are not using a circle, do not stress. Just hang tight for a minute, and we'll show you that next step. Okay, you don't have to, but oh my gosh. And you can see that circle, it didn't cost me anything. Because I die cut it out of my base layer, it's like a freebie. So why not use it? Make your dies pay for themselves. Oops. Oh my gosh, I'm all hands today. Did not get a good night's sleep. Oh, I love it. Isn't that beautiful? I need to grab my cold coffee here. All right. So this is going to attach to the bottom front flap. So this is our flaps. This is the top. This is the bottom. And it's only going to attach to the bottom. And I'm going to take it to the far left-hand side. Now, I'm not going to come past it, but I'm going to put it right about there. So no foam tape at the top, only foam tape at the bottom. And if you are using the same die cut as me, have a look at which way your stripes go. Of course, you can have them go a different way, but just want you to be aware of that. So whichever is your bottom, and I am going to just put some foam tape on the bottom half only. Okay, don't go past that halfway mark because we don't want it to stick. So this is how my card is going to go. I'm going to have my stripes going up and down, and I'm going to put 2 pieces running along the bottom only. And we're going to attach this over to the left-hand side. I stayed within the boundaries of the card. So I'm close to the left, I'm close to the bottom. And when I open it, just do a quick check and make sure no foam tape is showing here. Because if you have foam tape showing when you close it, it's going to stick and it's not going to move the way it's supposed to move. Okay, so we're just going to attach it off to the far left-hand side. We're going to grab another one of our die cuts. Oh, I love all of these. So that is on there. We don't need to cut more paper. We're done with that. Next, I'm going to take this postage stamp. This is on the die cut sheet that has the other tag and the other florals. We have not used this one yet. And we're going to take out that postage stamp. Come on. Some of these need a little bit of encouragement. There we go. And I'm going to put it right about there. So it overlaps my circle. So what that means is I want double foam tape on the right. So let's take a piece like so. And I took a fairly good size piece and I'm going to fold it in half. This is probably about 1.5 inches, no more than 2 inches for sure. And I'm going to put it right about smidge too long. I don't want it to cover up the score. Yep, that works perfect. I'm just going to put it right about, whoops, there goes my hands again, right about there. And this is 2 times. This is double. Did I do triple? Oh, we're going to add another piece. We're going to live dangerously today. Oh, yes, we are. Put another piece on top. I remember now. Now, if you did not use a circle behind there, double is fine. But remember, I took my circle and I foam taped it to my red foil. So that's why I'm going to go 3 times. Hold on to your horsies. And let me put this on, and then I'll show you what I did. I think it's going to go right about there. Yep. So I have it overlapping. I have a little bit of green showing on the edge and the bottom. And right there, see that little squish? We got to put just a hair of a foam tape behind there. Just one little piece. I probably took way too big. We're just going to slide it under, and then that will give it some strength there and it won't squish on us. Okay, so go ahead and attach that off to the side. Okay. And then we're going to take one of the small ones. Now you have a few small ones. You have this little joy. You have a peace, you have a celebrate over here. We've got a Noel and a love and a believe. So any of those will work. I'm going to go with the red one that says joy. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to pull out this one that says Merry Christmas. This is one of the bigger, fancier ones. So again, you have Christmas wishes. And over here, you have celebrate the season. So there's a few that you can choose. I'm going to do the Merry Christmas. You can even do the red ones. Any of those will work. Thank you, Janice. So these are the two I'm going to use. All right. Now I'm going to start with the Joy. And I'm just going to grab my little squares because they're just going to be easier. On the right-hand side, I want it to just be a single piece of foam. So we'll just go like that. That's on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, I need it to be double. So one, and then I'm going to take another one and put another one on top. So if I look at it sideways, that should kind of give you an idea of how we want to have them. So the beginning of the word is double and the end of the word is single. And I'm just going to put that kind of right about, let's see, yep, that works. Right about there. And it should be flush now. This is connecting them, which I like to do. It's something I do often, and I do it often without even thinking about it. It just gives it some continuity. And again, I've got things in threes. I've got a circle, I've got a postage stamp, and a little rectangle in threes, all connected. Now, as you can see right now, it is not an easel card. It is like a slider card. So this is where we need a stopper, and this is where I'm going to use the Merry Christmas inside the card, and it needs to be double foam tape so that it is high enough to stop the card and hold it. Now, depending on how you want your easel, if you want a lazy easel, you can put your card, your sentiment further down. If you want a straight up card, you could put your sentiment higher up. Totally wherever you like it. All right, and it has to be double foam tape. Single, I find, just does not hold up quite well enough. So, good size piece, which I did too big. Oh my goodness. Right like that. And I'm going to put it, I think, right about there, right in the center. And then that is just going to stop it with my card. Okay, so our second card is now done. Awesome job. We're going to make one more card together. See how easy these ones are? I love them. And of course, it will fold down, be a little lumpy because I've added a lot of foam tape, but it will fold down so that it can go into an envelope for you. I always like to use a slightly bigger envelope. So in that case, I'd probably use a 4.5 by 4.5 instead of a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 because I like that extra room so I'm not fighting with it. All right, we are going to get started on card number 3. Now, card number 3, I would say, is a traditional Deanna card, if there is such a thing. Lots of layers, lots of fun patterns. I call this a traditional Deanna card. So this is our next one that we're going to make. I love how all these patterns work together. Super pretty and gives us lots of visual interest on this one. Now for this one, your homework, let's pull up card number 3's homework. Again, I chose red foil, but you can choose red glitter or red cardstock. I used a top folding card for this. So let me get my supplies. You could make this as a side card as well. It doesn't have to be, but I chose to have it as a top card. It is the same footprint as this would be your side folding card. It is the same size. It just has the fold at the top. Thank you guys. This is just me. This is a layered card and that's how I usually do them. So we have that. Then we're going to have a piece of red foil that again is that 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we've got that. Then we need a piece that's 3 3/4 by 4 7/8. Again, yours might be red glitter, it might be red cardstock. I need a little piece that's 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then the last piece is a 2 5/8 by 4. Okay, so that is all of the homework that we need. So that is all of our mats for this. When we do layered cards, we need lots of mats. And that's, I think, what really pops them. If we don't add that mat, they just all kind of blend together. So let's start by taking that red, double check, make sure it fits onto your card, just in case. And then we're going to glue that together. And we are going to cut a lot more paper for this one. So in the first 2 cards, I only used 1 paper each. In this card, we're going to use probably 3 or 4 papers. So we're going to use a little bit more. All right. We'll let that sit. Sit. Okay. And then I want you to find this paper. It's going to be easier if you flip it over to the back side. For sure, because they all kind of look the same. I want you to find the red plaid. Red plaid. You'll have 3 sheets of it. We just need 1. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting the front. And we're going to cut that just in half, okay, because our paper, well, it's going to be a little bit less than half. We're going to take it to 4 inches. I always forget that the Australian paper is actually 8 1/4. So I've just cut that. Put that scrap for another card. 4 inches. And then I want it to be 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. And before we put glue on it, let's double check and make sure that it fits onto the front of our card. And it's perfect. So go ahead and glue that on. So all we did is cut that plaid paper 4 by 5 1/4. Glue that on. And we'll let that dry. Okay. Now we're going to go to this paper. And this paper is our green wood paper that is left over from card number 1. This is leftover from card number 1. The measurement, make sure it's the wood paper. The measurement will be about 3 1/2, approximately, by about 6. Okay, so that's the piece that we want. Now find your largest red foil. And what we're going to do is we are going to attach it onto here. I'm going to trim my red foil because it's a little bit too wide for my liking. Okay, so our first cut that we're going to do, because we can only do this one way so it's safe, is 4 3/4. So let's take this paper and cut it at 4 3/4. That's 4 3/4. Perfect. Now this is going to fit right onto our red foil. As I mentioned, I am going to trim my red foil a little bit. It's just a bit too wide. So I'm going to just, oh, that's because I gave my red foil 3 3/4. I'm going to just take it back a little bit. Just a little. Let's see if it fits now. Oh, well, of course, like a bad haircut, I take too much off. Isn't that my... Probably should have glued it first, but that's okay. Those kind of measurements don't stress me. What I want is to have an even border of red foil all the way around. So you really only need to make that one cut on here. You may need to slightly trim your red a little bit, and that's okay. but your green is already the right width. We just needed to make it not so long. Okay, so everybody got that? Only one cut for this paper. That is 4 3/4. We're going to leave the width and then just trim it a little bit. Okay, and glue those two together. I'm going to set that off to the side. No, I'm not. I'm going to actually attach it right now. We're going to put it right onto our card. So this is going to foam tape right in the center. I love the red pattern, but I am going to just tone that red pattern down. I want it to be a background. And in order for it to be a background, I need to soften it just a little bit. So that's why I'm going to use this big piece of the wood. I'm going to put foam tape on the back. I think I'll just stretch this just a bit because it is a big piece and I am going to put some weight on it. So I'm going to give it a little bit more foam tape. And we're just going to put it even top to bottom, even side to side. That works for me. And it just tones down that red. As much as I love it, it actually makes it pop just a bit more now around that edge. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And I'm going to get you to find this paper. Now, I know a lot of these papers look the same. Was it this paper I used? No, I lie. It's this paper. See, a lot of the papers look the same. I want you to find the one that's got the diagonal on the back. That's going to be a lot easier to find. The diagonal on the back. Go ahead and find that one. It is almost a pink. You're right. Red can go either way. It can be almost a purpley red, like a very dark, deep red. But it can also be a very soft pink red. So it just kind of pops it a little bit more. Now, what we're going to do with this one, this is what it looks like on the front. It is the diagonal on the back. We are going to cut out this strip here of the holly. Now, I want you to cut with the green line going with it. So cut on the outside. Let me show you what I mean. This first cut is going to be right around 4 3/4. And see how I want you to keep the green with it. Okay, so this piece is going to fall off. And of course, I would use this for, I love a diagonal, so I'm not going to get rid of that. That's for sure. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Keeping that line with the holly. Yep, and then we'll put that aside. And this is what we have. A strip of holly with the green. That green is going to act as another border, so I don't have to have an extra mat on it. So I don't want to get rid of it. You will see it's going to be perfect. Okay. Now that strip, of course, is too long, so we are going to trim the strip to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. And we'll just put this piece off to the side. We don't need it. We just need this big piece. And it is going to fit onto our red. And again, I'm going to trim my red because it's just a little bit too wide. I don't want any red on the short sides. I just want red on the long sides. So I'm going to just trim mine just a bit. Tiny bit, so I have a thinner border. Yep, that's perfect. Better to have too big so we can trim it. And we're going to glue it together. And then when we glue it together, you're going to get that extra mat that looks like we added some paper, being that green, but we didn't. It's just right on the print. And I appreciate that extra layer. Same length, no red foil on the short side, same length. Excellent. And then I'm going to glue this flat because I got lots of layers coming up. It's going to glue onto the right-hand side, and I'm going to come in just a little bit on the wood, maybe about 1/4 of an inch, no more than that, showing on the wood. So let me bring this up before I glue it together. I'm not worried about foam tape on the top and bottom because it's such a small little area. So we're going to glue this flat. Okay. I got some more here too, Karen, if you need them. These are what I showed them.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll come in just a hair. And this should go right from the top to the bottom. And then we're going to pick up that red foil that's on the top and the bottom. So that's why we don't need extra foil there. I'm going to move it just a hair over. That's perfect. That's, oops, no, it's not. It's crooked. Oh, there we go. That's what I want. Now we're going to cut one more piece of paper, and then we're just going to start decorating. So the last paper I want you to find is this paper. Let's look at it from the back side. It's going to be a little bit easier. The back side is all the words. It's like a little book, all the red words on the back. So you'll have 3 sheets, find one. You can see you're going to have a lot of extra papers. So find that paper. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to make a little cut. And I only want the poinsettias. So I'm going to take the side with the wider border. And I think I'm going to start, let's, I want to see what the measurement was I gave you. 2 5/8 I gave you. So we're going to take this to 2 1/2. And we're going to cut a long strip. Now you'll see that I've got the paper in my trimmer long. We don't have to do it long though. No, we don't have to. Let's cut it this way. That might give you a bigger piece for a card, future card. I want to always think about that for you. So let's actually do the first cut. Let's put it in horizontal and let's take it to just under 4. Let's do it that way. Horizontal, just under 4. That kind of cuts it not quite in half, but then you see you've got this big piece that's perfect for a card. So I'm just trying to be aware of how I get you to cut that paper. 3 7/8, which is just under 4. Then we're going to turn it sideways. I want all the poinsettia paper. So I'm going to cut off the diagonal and I'm going to do it at 2 1/2. I can always adjust this, so I'm not worried. 2 1/2 by 3 7/8. And you just get a piece of poinsettia. Now, let's see if we need to adjust it. I might take a hair off. Want it to fit onto my red foil, so I'm just going to take a little bit off. Just a smidge. Oh, perfect. And I want red foil all the way around. When I have that red foil, go ahead and glue it together. Measurement was 2 1/2 by 3 7/8. We're putting it onto the red foil or red cardstock or red glitter that you used for part of your homework. Okay, we're going to flip it over. We're going to put foam tape on the back. Okay, so I'm going to do a piece there. I have this little piece I want to use, and then we'll do a base on this side. Okay, so foam tape on the back. And we're going to come a little closer to the left-hand side, even top to bottom. Let me show you there, like that. So even top to bottom, closer to the left side. I got about 1/4 of an inch happening over here. So now you see how those two sides are balancing. All good, June. In about 10 minutes, you'll be able to watch and rewatch right away and do it. And you'll just pretend you're live. I tell you, I have my alarm set for so many things that sometimes I'm like, what was that alarm set for? I have no idea. Okay, let's go back to our die cuts. And I want you to find this green checkered tag. Okay, you got 4 die cut sheets in there. Go ahead and find that green checkered tag. And I have a lot of respect for them not punching the hole out. That makes me happy because unless I'm putting ribbon in there, I really don't want a hole. We will cover that in a minute. So find this one. And we're going to take a piece of foam tape. And I'm going to put a piece of foam tape right there. See where that foam tape is? About 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And it is not wider than my tag. Do you see that? So add that little piece of foam tape because I can tell that it's going to be a little bit wimpy there. And then we're going to take our tag and we're going to put foam tape on the back. Okay, I'm going to put this on and then I'll show you where I put it. I think I'll come up just a hair right there. Okay, so the top of the tag is on my left-hand side. I have come over the edge of the wood paper just a bit. I'm about halfway up from the bottom of the poinsettia. I can see a smidge of poinsettia over here. This is going to act like another piece of paper. Even though it's a die cut and it's got that nice shine to it, it's going to act like another piece of paper. Okay, we just have a few more die cuts to do. We're going to go to this sheet and we're going to pull out that Merry Christmas that is kind of printed on wood. It's a little bracket die. I'm going to pull that one out. And the reason I chose this is because it is going to fit really nice in that printed area. So I'm going to foam tape it right in the center of the tag. Right in the center. So one here, I'm going to put a good solid piece. I'm going to put it right in the middle. Line it up as best you can. It's not a perfect fit, but you won't notice that. Okay, let's see. Back to our flowers. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate that. So right above that green tag that we just pulled out was that other single flower that I chose. So we're going to pull that single flower. Come on. Right there. And I'm going to put it at the end so it overlaps. Now what I'm going to do, just so that I have it in the right spot, I am going to take some foam tape and I'm going to double it up. And I might even do 2 smaller pieces just to spread it a bit. I'm going to put one there and I'm going to put one there. And these are 2 times. 2, 2. That is what it looks like. So just 2 little pieces right there. And when we go to put this on, I chose to have the dark green leaf, maybe sitting around 5 o'clock. What you want to do is overlap the end, but not cover the words. So I think that's perfect right there. So see how I've kind of hugged the words? And it just sits right on that double foam tape. Okay, one more die cut and we are done. That is on this sheet. I chose the dark green one. Now you have lots of words you can use. I'm going to do Noel. You have lots you can choose. I'm going to put a little piece of foam tape on it. And I'm going to put it up in the top left. And I like to have it hanging off the edge just a smidge. That's just me. I am not good at staying inside the line, so I like it to be off the edge a bit. Just get rid of that little chad there. Doop. Okay. And again, this is a great one. You can add some gems there or gems here. You can add some gems in the center. Lots of options for that. That card is complete. So let's bring in all 3 cards. Whew, right on time. Right on time. That makes me happy. So there is all of our cards. Now, Courtney is going to be this afternoon, so bring all your leftover die cuts, right? You still got some. And your leftover papers, you've got a lot of leftover papers. That's why you may want some die cuts. And just a little note about this line. Paper Rose designed it specifically for the independent stores, which is why we chose this. We feel like if they're supporting us, we want to support them. So that is why we chose to do this one, because I think Paper Rose went above and beyond by having this just for the independent stores. It's a real struggle. So any little, what I like to call leg up, I will take. All right, so that is it for your cards. Please share yours. And then don't forget this afternoon, you've got Courtney coming in with her cards. I have not seen them, so I'm excited to see them. And then don't forget tomorrow morning, we are going live with our new Crafty Hour. Really important. A lot of you were very disappointed when we launched our last Crafty Hour 2 weeks ago that we sold out. This is your warning. Get on your phone, set an alarm. Set it for like 5 to 9, and then you will be ready. This next one that I'm going to show you tomorrow is going to be with Joe. Joe's going to take over doing it. And Joe and Courtney, and it's beautiful. I think you're going to love it. I'm excited. You get a lot of product in it, and I think it's going to be a good one. So make sure to tune in tomorrow to the live reveal at 9 a.m., and then we'll see you all back here later this afternoon on Scrapbook and Memories page for Courtney's Crafty Hour. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.